I want to talk about the empowerment of the average person. You had a revelation that the Lord gave you about what it meant to commission those people, and it actually turned the temperature up.
It did. The revival started in 2018. Even through COVID, thank God we continue to see the revival happen. By the end of 2021, I was in my living room and I was up. I couldn't get to sleep. And as I told you before, Bonnie goes to bed before I do. I'm leafing through my iPad at all the beautiful photos our creative department does, and they do a phenomenal job. And I'm just, instead of channel surfing, because we don't have cable and all that, I'm just leafing through my iPad looking at all these beautiful photos, these moments that these guys have so wonderfully captured of healings and baptisms and salvations and deliverances and stuff. And I'm like, this is beautiful. And all of a sudden it hit me, every one of these pictures, this is all happening inside the four walls of the church. And I just realized, man, if that doesn't change, this thing's going to end.
Yeah.
And it really isn't, it's not even about an ending. It's really about, well, what is this for? We're supposed to be advancing the kingdom. And this is going to limit doing that if we keep it in the four walls. So I filed that, kind of shoved that down, put it in a file, went on a prayer retreat about a month or so later. And the first night of the prayer retreat, had an encounter with the Lord. And I was going to spend 2-3 nights there. The first night I start praying and I have this immediate encounter with the Lord. And he brings to my remembrance an episode in The Chosen. And I won't take the time to go into the episode. Well, the episode is the one where
Season 2, episode 6. No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
And I want
cut to it now.
And I want him to give me credit for no. But it was the episode where they made camp. Jesus, not the real Jesus doesn't show up till the very end of the episode. It starts out, it's daylight. You have all these little vignettes of drama moments and all this stuff going on and people talking and trying to figure out what is this all about and what's going on. But you don't see the character Jesus until the very end of the episode. Mm-hmm. And that's because he was out all day from sun up to sundown, laying hands on the sick, casting out devils, and preaching the gospel. Mm-hmm. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
I thought, that is the model. We have to release people to do that.
Yeah.
And so I went home and met with Tarek, who's in the studio here, some of the other young men, and I started talking to him about it. And what came out of my mouth was this, and specifically to Tarek, because we had all these young adult life groups, and that we've been in revival. And but I said to him, I know we never told them that they couldn't lay hands on the sick and preach the gospel and baptize, and I know we never told them that they couldn't. But that's not the same thing as telling them that they can. So Tarek, I want you to tell them that they can. They're commissioned. They can preach. They can lay. The ones that have the fire, not all of them are going to feel that way, but the ones that have that fire, let them create their own pulpit. Let them preach. Let them lay hands on the sick, baptize. But I know we never told them they couldn't, but that's not the same thing as telling them that they can. So tell them that they can. And that was around December of 2021. And so it was in February of 2022 when they had the first opportunity, the college kids, to actually do that, the small group leaders. And they had a meeting, spontaneous meeting on the A&M campus. And the Holy Spirit broke out. They started baptizing college students right there. They're getting saved, delivered, set free. And then they're like, where's water? Well, let's use the college fountain. It's right here. And so they started baptizing these kids in the college fountain. So that was I think I answered.
Yeah, and then it spreads to the other life group leaders, like you were mentioning, and became a part of.
And then the high school kids got FOMO overhearing about what happened, because remember, we've been in revival, so it's not like we're kickstarting anything. This is taking it to a whole nother level.
It's kind of like a new dimension, right?
It's a new dimension.
It's like it's like, LeBron James is 40 years old in the NBA, and he has a skill set that the rookie doesn't have because he's been in it and knows the ropes. So that third category is the next generation.
Yeah.
And it's high school students, it is college students, it's elementary students, it's middle school students.
And it's releasing them. So the high school students, they started Bible clubs. But here's the culture. If you talk about, okay, you have to do both. So a local church, If we're going to equip the saints for the work of the ministry, Ephesians 4, we're going to empower people to do ministry. Okay, well, that's great. That's great. We need to have that. That's biblical. That needs to happen. It's not only biblical, it's effective. This is what makes the kingdom advance with so much power. But then you also need to give them the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
So you've got to make room for that, which means, for example, out of the 8,000 people that we've baptized, I think I've baptized personally maybe 6. Out of all of the miraculous healings we've seen, I'm personally connected to maybe 3. Maybe not even 3. No, I think maybe 3 or 4 that I'm connected to over 7 years, and hundreds of healings and miracles. What people see on Sundays is they see different people baptizing. People that bring a friend to church, and that friend gets saved in that service. They know that they have the freedom to baptize their friend, which makes them realize creating your own pulpit is real. They mean it at New Life. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to.
So you're reinforcing that culture every opportunity you get.
Every opportunity. All the different people that are praying for people, the different people that are baptizing, the different people that are preaching. And we give testimonies of that all the time. So every time we share a testimony we had some teens that decided they wanted to do their own worship, and this was their own service. On a Thursday night at their school, they got permission on their own from the school to meet. They put together their own little worship team. They went to the AV department at the school and says, we need slides. So they got people to help them with that. And they had their own service. They're 16 years old.
Yeah.
180 kids show up.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit falls. Kids are weeping. They're crying. They're repenting. They're getting saved. They're getting delivered. And when you're looking at the footage, there are some adults there, but they're standing in the back. It's all the kids. We've had people say, you can't do Bible clubs and have kids preach. Well, these Bible clubs are student-led.
I've seen videos that you have 10-year-olds sharing the gospel in their elementary
Bible clubs. Yeah, and giving invitations for salvation.
So in middle school and high school, you have 800 or 1,000 students
with junior high and senior high. On any given week, there's over 1,000 students in Bible clubs in 20 different schools, public schools. We have 3 elementary schools that are really recent right now, and they are averaging about 30 or 40 in each of those.
Okay.
And they're all student-led. Now, there's a lot of reasons. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is if they're student-led, the school can't deny them, which is awesome. They can't say no, or they can say no for a little while, but eventually they have to say yes. But the other powerful thing about that is, again, it's creating your own pulpit. It's releasing and empowering. I mean, if you think about it, those that are watching, think about this. Think about a 10-year-old. Think about a junior high student or high schooler preaching. Some of these Bible clubs are as large as over 200 of their classmates. And think about these kids putting together their own sermons.
Yeah.
Standing in front of their classmates and preaching the gospel.
Yeah.
And giving invitations for salvation. These kids are marked for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Even if they have some rough patches with the Lord, they will never escape this season of their life.
In Tennessee, you go to school based on your zip code, essentially, or the jurisdiction that you live in. I heard your youth pastor talking about basically kids are signing up for the transfer portal. The gospel and Bible clubs are booming on one school. They're transferring and going and pioneering, almost
Correct.
Apostolic
Exactly.
and pioneering a new work in a school that's not seeing it.
Yeah, that's happened this year. There are 3 different students that changed schools. One young man had 200 in his Bible club in what Bible club was he in? Dax. He started off in a different one, and then he went to Carroll.
You're right. Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah, he was at Vets, big high school, and he had 200 kids in his Bible club, and kids were getting saved left and right. Then he felt in prayer one day, he felt convicted and felt the Lord calling him to Carroll High School. So he put in to transfer, and he transferred to Carroll, and there's over 200 in that Bible club.
Wow.
So we've had 3 different students who felt called, not for sports, but to go from one school to the other that didn't have a Bible club to start a Bible club.
Yeah. I mean, that's insane, amazing, incredible. And then on the college campuses, I've seen the Texas A&M Corpus Christi on the news regularly.
Yes.
Because there's thousands of college students coming up, many salvations, lots of baptisms.
Hundreds. There's probably 500 or 600 college students in life groups, in small groups throughout the week. And they don't have their own service. Sunday is their church, their service. And then they have once a year, they have what's called One Night. And it's an outreach, evangelistic outreach on the college campus. And it is pretty simple, you guys. It's worship. It's a sermon. It's an invitation for salvation or healing or what, but always for salvation. There are horse troughs set up for baptisms. And then after that, they have an after party. They hang out and stuff. But what's brilliant that they do is after that, they'll sign up 600-700 kids in small groups.
Yeah.
Now they got names. They got phone numbers.
Yeah.
They're texting their phone. It's incredible. So each year that's grown. When it first started, it was like maybe 400 or 500. This last year was it over 1,700 students that showed up.
Wow. And then a lot of.
And it was like what 124. Maybe it looks bad for me to be pointing to my college pastor, but it's 124 spontaneous baptisms and a few more salvations. With our high schoolers, their Sunday nights, they'll average 15, 20 baptisms almost every Sunday night. Here's why that's really amazing. Because we don't baptize a senior high kid or a junior high kid until we call the parents and get permission. And so if the youth are having, 25 baptisms, that's like 50 baptisms, or whatever. And then the youth also do a annual outreach, even though they have all these stuff going on all year long. They do a big annual outreach, and they did it for the youth, junior high and senior high, just this past August or September? August. And they call it Hype Night, but and it's hardcore preaching and worship and all that, spontaneous baptisms. They had around 1,900 college students in the tent.
Wow.
And I forget how many. They had to change the water. They had to put more water in the baptism tank.
Wow.
Over